Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Bruno Fernandes is set to sign a new contract at Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes is close to agreeing a new £200,000 a week contract after admitting he's happy with the progress by Solskjaer's team. Fernandes has 4 years left on his current contract. He's under contract with the club until 2025. He said earlier on this season that Bruno Fernandes would only sign a new contract if Paul Pogba commits his future to Man United. And it said earlier on this season that he was refusing to sign a new contract until he had assurances over the club's transfer plans. Bruno Fernandes has been at Manchester United over a year now. We initially paid £47 million for him. The overall cost with add-ons is just over £67 million. He recently won Player of the Year, and he's won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. In a lot of Bruno Fernandes' games at Manchester United, he's been very consistent, but there's also been quite a few games where he has looked off the pace. But we have overplayed Bruno Fernandes, but earlier on this season he denied that he needed a rest because he obviously wants to help the club win trophies. Don't forget, he did say on his 12-month anniversary back in January that he's planning on spending many years at Manchester United. But he is our best player, and he's one of the best signings we have made since Ferguson retired. He predominantly plays as a number 10, but he has made the difference in this team. Now, will Manchester United sign Harry Kane? Harry Kane has ruled out a move abroad. He wants to stay in the Premier League. Like I updated you earlier on today, Daniel Levy is furious with Harry Kane for going out public with his desire to leave earlier on this week, because Harry Kane had an interview with Gary Neville regarding his future. Harry Kane recently said that Tottenham could be ready to sell, and Kane said he will decide on his own future, not Daniel Levy. Now, it said Tottenham were demanding £150 million. He's not worth £150 million, and I'm very sceptical Tottenham would get £150 million. I think the most they'd get would be around £120 million. He recently confirmed Harry Kane for the second time that he wants to leave. Earlier on this week, it said that Harry Kane handed in a transfer request at Tottenham. Man United, Man City and Chelsea have all been in contact with his representatives. He said earlier on this week as well that Man United and Man City are set to offer Harry Kane £80 million in wages. Football Insider have said that Man United are prepared to offer Jesse Lingard and Anthony Martial in a swap deal for Harry Kane. because Tottenham are keen on a players plus cash deal. Chelsea have also put a bid in for him. They're willing to offer Tammy Abraham and Arrizabalaga as part of a swap deal for Kane. Ryan Mason recently dismissed suggestions that Harry Kane asked to leave. But a few weeks ago, he said that Kane was ready to ask Tottenham to listen to transfer offers this summer. And it says the Glazers were planning to sanction a £90 million bid. Kane said earlier on this season that he wants to win team trophies. He said that after Tottenham's Carabao Cup final defeat to Man City, Tottenham have not won a trophy for 13 years. David Einstein was speaking about Kane earlier on this season. He said that Kane is unhappy. He said he wants to leave Tottenham. He said he's committed to Tottenham whilst he's there, but he obviously wants to win the biggest trophies, and he's not experiencing this at Spurs. Harry Kane wants his future sorted out before the Euros on the 11th of June. But I would certainly take Harry Kane at Manchester United. The reasons is because he's a prolific goal scorer, he's well proven in the Premier League, and he dramatically improves, and he is regarded as one of the best strikers in the world. And he'd fit in our team perfectly. But we've got a very good chance of getting him. You know, don't forget, we've done business with Tottenham before. We got Dimitar Berbatov off them a lot of years ago. And we also got Michael Carrick off them a lot of years ago. Harry Kane has been a long-serving player at Tottenham. You know, he's been with them 17 years now. He's been in their senior squad since 2009. Don't forget, he came up their academy. He has won the Golden Boot a couple of times, reflecting on his good performances. He's had loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. Solskjaer has refused to rule out Man United signing a striker. We still want a striker despite Edison Cavani signing a one-year deal not so long ago. Do you think Manchester United could sign Danny Ings from Southampton? The Daily Telegraph said not so long ago that Man United inquired about Southampton striker Danny Ings, and we're looking at Danny Ings as a target during the summer transfer window. Obviously, we're seeing him as an alternative to Harry Kane, or he'd be a much, much cheaper solution than Harry Kane. I think Danny Ings' performances for Southampton have been very, very good. He's got just over a year left on his contract with Southampton. Southampton paid £20 million for him from Liverpool. Liverpool didn't really play a lot because he had bad injuries. At one point he was at Burnley. At one point he had a loan spell with Dorchester Town. And before he was at Bournemouth. Danny Ings is, 28 years of age, so he's highly experienced. I think he'd probably cost us in the £20-odd million range. And obviously, you know the news on Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. Apparently, a contract has been agreed for Sancho. Fabrizio Romano recently said that Borussia Dortmund are ready to sell Sancho for around £80 million this summer. And he said that Man United are still interested in Sancho, but there's no official talks or bid yet. Jadon Sancho's representatives are more confident than ever that Sancho will join Man United in the summer transfer window. But yeah, Solskjaer demands 3 new transfers in order for Man United to challenge for the Premier League title next season. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. That's 8 years ago now. And I've already identified the areas in the squad where Man United need to strengthen up. Because next season is huge for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Solskjaer has got to exceed expectations next season if he is to remain Manchester United manager, because if things start going wrong next season, then there's a good chance he will be sacked. But I've got to credit Solskjaer because I didn't expect him to do as well as he has done. So I am shocked in that aspect. You know, you've got to say he's done well to say the squad he was left with when he got appointed in as Man United manager. But it isn't long now until the summer transfer window opens. I think it's open on the 9th of June. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how huge the summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Man United in general. It's very imperative that Solskjaer gets the players he wants to recommend in, because I don't think he's been backed enough so far in the transfer windows he has endured, and in that aspect the blame stems from the board. But the summer transfer window will be Ole's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. The Europa League is our priority. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer must win the Europa League, because obviously that would give us more confidence and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. You know, we've not won a trophy since 2017 and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's not yet won a trophy as Manchester United manager. You know, it's Villarreal Wednesday, it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first major final as Man United manager, and it's our 8th European final. Obviously, Harry Maguire, he's got ligament damage in his ankle. He sustained the ankle injury in our 3-1 win against Aston Villa. Solskjaer has confirmed that Maguire is out for the final, which is a big blow for Man United. Martial remains out as well, Solskjaer's confirmed. I think Phil Jones is still out with injury. Daniel James was injured, but I think he's now back, or he's close to being back. Fred and McTominay, I think, are okay. They've just recently had minor injuries. Obviously, we do play Wolves tomorrow in the Premier League. It's our final Premier League game of this season. It's a meaningless game, isn't it? You know, because whether we win, draw or lose to Wolves, it doesn't change the complexion of things. You know, we have secured 2nd place and we are guaranteed Champions League football for next season. Yeah, Solskjaer's going to rotate heavily against Wolves. He has confirmed that Hannibal Mejbri, if I pronounce his name correctly, will make his debut against Wolves. And he's confirmed that Shortire will be involved. But it'd be nice to beat Wolves, even though it's a meaningless game, because we are winless in our last 3 league games. But I think, you know, Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at Manchester United, because, like I've said, he has made progress. I think he is our best manager since Ferguson. Obviously, a lot of Manchester United fans have been demanding Ollie out, and they've obviously heavily criticised him. They've obviously got their reasons behind it. But I presume there's still a lot of United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in, and they believe that he needs more time at the club. He isn't the long-term manager for Manchester United. I hate to say it, but I'm just being honest, and I think a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. I just don't think Ollie's got that big club mentality as a manager. I want him to succeed as Manchester United manager because he's a club legend. We love him a lot. He enjoyed 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance, but just hasn't got it in him as a manager. Obviously, he hasn't got a proven pedigree behind him. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. He only enjoyed a short tenure with Cardiff, didn't he? He actually got them relegated, and Ollie managed the Man United reserve team for a couple of years, so he watched some of this team grow and develop. This has been Solskjaer's second full season. He's been Manchester United manager now. He's at around 27, 28 months. So that means he's been with us over 2 years. He has just got under a year left on his current 3-year contract, but earlier on this season it said that Ollie agreed a 3-year contract worth 30 million, likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. But there's a lot of positives to take so far from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure. He's done well in a lot of aspects this season. He's got us to the Europa League final. He's got us a second place finish in the Premier League this season. That's not an achievement, like Solskjaer recently said, but if we win the Europa League, then that'll be classed as an achievement. We've got a very good away record in the Premier League under him as well. We are unbeaten in our last 25 Premier League away games, so we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We've been far superior away from home than we have been at home. We've been terrible at home this season. All our defeats have come at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. I think a lot of it has been to do with no fans being there. Solskjaer got us to the FA Cup quarter-final this season, also got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. He did well last season though. In his first full season he got us 3rd place last season, so you can see that progress has been made from last season because we finished higher this season than last season. He guided us to 3 semi-finals last season. He got us qualification for the Champions League. He has made good signings as Manchester United manager so far. He's spent almost £300 million. He's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in, and I like the way he has promoted the youth. So they are the positives regarding Ole. We did appoint him in December 2018 to replace Mourinho, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. We gave him the job permanently a couple of years ago, reflecting how well he did as the interim manager. Solskjaer is inheriting players from other managerial eras, as you all know. He's our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson, don't forget. We've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson retired. That was David Moyes. We sacked him. We sacked Louis van Gaal. And we also sacked Jose Mourinho. And we're not even really known as a sacking football club. We've only won, 4 trophies since Ferguson retired. So that just indicates how inconsistent we have been for the last, 8 years or so. But mistakes have been made in the last 8 years, and that's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. We must have brought around 37 players in since Ferguson retired, and in total we've spent over £1 billion. I think that's wages included. The board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for a long time. Obviously reflecting now poor our recruitment policy's been, we've overpaid for players, and in general the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't got the players that they wanted to recommend in. Man United have got to get the Glazers out. As you all know, Joe Glazer will attend the fans forum on the 4th of June. Solskjaer did recently say that the fans' protests have affected the players. Earlier on this season, Joe Glazer wrote a letter to Man United fans. Earlier on this month, Solskjaer did say that the Glazers apologised to him. Solskjaer did say that the violent incidents went too far, but he says the club need to take notice of the fans. Because you can understand the fans' frustration. And earlier on this month, Solskjaer was angry with Gary Neville over the Man United protests. Earlier on this season, Avram Glazer refused to apologise over the European Super League. You know, Sky News caught up with him in Florida and he refused to answer any questions. Will the Old Trafford protests force the Glazers out of the club? I hope so. I really do. The reasons we've got to get the Glazers out of the club is because, you know, they've put us in so much debt. And in general, I hate the way the football club has been run for a long time. You know, the Glazers bought Man United for 500 million back in 2005. So they have been at the club 16 years. Narratives came out earlier on this season saying that the Glazers could be forced to sell Man United, but for only £4 billion. Before that, it said the Glazers have got no intentions of selling the club. And Joe Glazer released a statement earlier on this season apologising to club fans over the European Super League plans. Just wait there a second, I need to take my jumper off. Take my jumper off. So yeah, so we've got to recommend new owners in. Obviously we know Woodward is standing down at the end of the year because it got announced earlier on this season that he resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. And I presume all United fans were happy with the news regarding Ed Woodward because we've been very critical of Woodward for a long time. Woodward has had a 16-year association with Man United. He has. Who will come in to replace Ed Woodward? You know, do you think the new chairman will be? The last time I read up, it actually said that Edwin van der Sar was the favourite. Anyway, I'm expecting some players to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. Now, Solskjaer did recently say there may not be that many outgoings in the summer transfer window. Maybe just 2 or 3 players could leave in the summer transfer window. I'm actually expecting more than 3 players to leave. Because there's actually still some dead wood at the club. You know, Romero, I think he should go in the summer transfer window. You know, I think Lee Grant obviously should go. Phil Jones should go as well. We need to get rid of Delors permanently. We need to get rid of Andres Pereira permanently. I think Brandon Williams does need to go. Not because he's a bad player, it's just that, he doesn't get enough opportunities at Man United, and he's our third choice left back. But if we get rid of Williams, he'll gain more experience and he'll get more chances. I'd probably just say loan Williams out, don't get rid of him permanently. I think we need to get rid of Nemanja Matic, because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders, and I've always had my strong reservations about him. Obviously, Jose Mourinho wants Nemanja Matic at Roma. Mourinho wants to reunite with the player. Mourinho's got a great relationship with Matic. We will accept a cut price fee for Matic. And Corriere dello Sport have already said that we've got no problem letting him leave, and we don't expect to receive any more than 8.6 million for Matic. He's under contract though with Man United until 2023. Juan Mata, I think he should go as well, because he doesn't really get in our 11, does he? And plus he's aging up and he has lost that yard of pace, so that's my element of concern. Solskjaer did recently say that no decision has yet been made on Juan Mata's future. He may stay at Man United for next season. I think a decision's going to be made at the end of the season on Juan Mata. I think we should sell Anthony Martial as well. He's no longer good enough to represent the club, and he's been out of form for the vast majority of this season. And plus he's out with a knee injury at the moment, and he's been out with his knee injury a while. But a lot of players are going to stay at Man United in the summer transfer window, and I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. Dean Henderson, he'll stay with us. He's our number one goalkeeper, obviously, and I reckon Dean Henderson's got a long-term future at Man United. Luke Shaw, he'll also stay as well. He's been our best player this season. Maguire will stay. Bailly, obviously, we know he's staying. He signed a new contract not so long ago. Lindelof will stay potentially past the summer. And Wan-Bissaka, he'll also stay as well. I reckon he's going to be with us long term. One of the best right backs we've had since Gary Neville. I think he can emulate into the next Gary Neville. De Gea could stay potentially past the summer, but I don't think he'll be with us long term from now. De Gea is obviously now our second choice goalkeeper. Fred, I think he'll stay. Probably not long term, but past this year's summer transfer window. McTominay will stay. Donny van der Beek will probably stay as well, because it said we are reluctant to let Donny van der Beek go, and it says we will reject any offers for him this summer because Solskjaer has got big plans for him. Bruno Fernandes, obviously we know he's going to stay, probably long term. Mason Greenwood, he'll also stay. Rashford will stay. We know obviously Cavani's staying for next season. He'll go after next season, will Cavani. James will stay potentially past the summer. Maddial Traore, he'll obviously stay. Like I said, he looks a good asset for the first team squad. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.